Hello and welcome to the Alabama Public Health Training Network. Security coordinators oversee all matters related to maintaining the security of PHI and ePHI in their respective offices and clinics. Today we will review the current tasks and responsibilities of security coordinators, as well as cover new requirements for performing quarterly risk analysis. Thank you for joining us today for our program, Information Security, Security Coordinator Roles. If you have any questions about anything being discussed today, please call or email during our broadcast. The phone number and email address are on the screen now and will appear later in the program. Also, the handouts are available online. You will need to register for this program in order to gain access to that material. I'm Lori Earle, Information Security Officer for the Alabama Department of Public Health, and with me today is Samaria Dunson, Director of the Office of Compliance and Ethics at ADPH. Welcome, and let's get started. HIPAA Security Coordinator role. As mentioned before, the Security Coordinator oversees all matters relating to the security of electronic protected health information, or ePHI, within their respective offices or clinics. The HIPAA Security Coordinator objectives establish accountability for the security of electronic protected health information, or ePHI. They implement and maintain the organization's policies governing ePHI. They ensure adherence to security policies, and they encourage a culture of compliance. Now, basically what each of those points entails is the establishing of accountability. They help determine who has access to ePHI. Access is role-based, and so it must comply with the minimum necessary rule or guideline regarding HIPAA. Essentially, the minimum necessary rule establishes how much access to ePHI a person can have. We don't want anybody who has or who does not need. Let me back up. We don't want anybody to have more access to ePHI than is required to perform their job tasks. Furthermore, the HIPAA Security Coordinator is in charge of implementing and maintaining the organization's policies. Those policies are outlined in the department's HIPAA Privacy and Security Policy Statement. I believe you were updating that, and you will be receiving a new one shortly. They're also charged with ensuring adherence to the security policies and to encourage a culture of compliance. And I know that's kind of a broad statement, but what we hope that the security coordinator will do will encourage employees to think before they act. Before they, take a certain action, we'd like employees to consider, is this HIPAA compliant? Will this compromise ePHI? Will this, compromise not just ePHI, but potentially the system, the entire system? So we would like to encourage security coordinators to take a more active role in creating a culture of compliance. The HIPAA Security Coordinator is also responsible for assisting employees in obtaining user IDs. I would also like to mention, before I proceed, that it's been brought to our attention that some employees do not know who their security coordinator is for their particular area or department or bureau. So if you would, either provide people with a list of, who the security coordinators are or their backup security coordinators, that would be helpful. Another responsibility is to assist employees with changing passwords. That's something that may happen frequently if an employee, forgets their password or forgets that they've changed their password and they attempt to log into the system. After a number of attempts, they will be logged out, so they definitely will need to know who their security coordinator is so that they can contact that person and have that person contact the help desk to get that password changed. And that basically covers the third point. Moving on. The security coordinator needs to ensure that all employees have HIPAA privacy and security training. That training preferably should occur before they actually have access to the system. I'm not sure how that happens out in each area, but hopefully you all already have some sort of checklist that you go by before you actually give an employee access to the system. The security coordinator should also make efforts to locate workstations in areas where public access is restricted. It's important that workstations are away from the public. If, for instance, in a reception area, if you can't have it completely away from the public, just make sure that it's difficult or a bit more of a challenge for a person to view the information and to access it. If there's, for instance, a desk that they would have to actually physically go around to access the information, that's helpful. Otherwise, if you can just move it to areas that are away from the public, that's preferable. The HIPAA Security Coordinator is required to train all employees on ARIA, which is the Automated Reports of Incidents and Accidents. That system can be reached from the ADPH website. You click on login, it's in the upper right hand corner, and it should take you to the login portal, and then there's a list of systems or applications there, and you can just choose ARIA from that. The security coordinator's main role is to work closely with the state privacy or the department privacy and security officer. Essentially, you're our eyes and ears out there in the offices. So if there's anything that you see that you have questions or concerns about, please let us know before it evolves into a more serious situation. We're just here to basically prevent any serious security breaches of PHI. So, we're not here to get anyone in trouble. We are just here to prevent, if not, and perhaps mitigate any problems. So once again, you can shoot me an email. If you have any questions, you can call me. My contact information will be on the screen later, so just do not hesitate. Do not feel that, it's a silly question. Just feel free to reach out and ask. The security coordinator's function of requesting access for employees is pretty standard. I'm sure anybody who is a security coordinator is familiar with the process. That's something that, there's a specific form that the help desk will provide you with, and then, of course, the access will be assigned, or the access privileges will be assigned based on that employee's function within the Department of Public Health. The removal from the system is also a security coordinator function. I'm actually starting to review those logs of all the employees who've transferred out of the department or have been separated from the department, so we can make sure that anybody who is no longer either fulfilling a certain function or has left, that they no longer have access to the system as a whole or certain areas of the system. Access to the entire area, the system in an entire area, if for some reason an employee needs broad access to fulfill the tasks of their job, that is something that the area security coordinator can request from the help desk. The reporting of access problems to IT, that kind of falls in line with password problems and things like that I covered earlier. But once again, it's important that employees know who their security coordinator is, so that security coordinator, so they can contact the security coordinator, and then the security coordinator can contact the support desk to remedy the situation. And I'm going to let Samaria discuss this more. This has to do with the new role that, or new responsibility that security coordinators now have, and that is quarterly risk analysis.
Right, and let me say, there's going to be a document that we're going to upload to the document library, and many of you have already seen me and my assistant, Oyana Moore, out in the county health departments. We're walking around, we have a document with us, we're asking questions of most likely the office manager, the nurses, the social workers. We're trying to figure out in the counties, in the bureaus, how things function, who has access to what, how information is being disclosed. So it's the same document that we would normally have used when we went out to assess the different offices. But one of the issues that we were facing is with there just being 2 of us in the office at that time, now it looks like it's down to 1 with me leaving, but if we need somebody other than ourselves out there looking at these issues. Because one thing that would happen is we would try to get out to each area quarterly, but we couldn't do all of the county health departments in an area, or even staying late in the evenings to try to do the bureaus here in the central office was quite difficult and very time consuming. So one of the things that we thought about, and Dr. Miller has approved this, is that once a quarter, the security coordinator will take this same document that we're going to upload. It's not a very long document, and the security coordinator will just walk through their office or their county health department that they're responsible for and go through this list, write it up, send it in to central office, to the Office of Compliance, and we'll keep a binder in our office. And it'll say, maybe it's the Lauderdale County Health Department, maybe it's the Bureau of Home Health, but each quarter they will be assessing their area and reporting to us, hey, everything is fine, or we have these issues. I don't want you all to be worried that you're like telling on people or necessarily being the police. The Office of Compliance has no problem being the police and being the group to tell on people. What we want you to do is just to complete the form so that it makes us aware of what's happening. We're happy to take those matters from that point. So it's a very, very easy form. A number of the things that we ask about is, like for instance, in the county health departments, is the notice of privacy practices, can you see it? Is it in view? Is it posted? Are the medical records, are they being kept behind a double lock system? Are the monitors being turned away from the public so that they can't see as you're typing in what's going on with another patient? Those types of things, very easy things. It's going to be a lot easier for you all who constantly work in that area to assess these things than it ever was for Oyana and I, because each time we were going into a completely different area, having to even figure out which individuals had the information that we needed. But because you work in that area every day, you can easily walk over to the fax machine and say, oh yeah, it's got the confidentiality statements that we need, or their passwords not on the monitor, and those types of things. So this is not a difficult task. It's not something that's even going to take you 15 minutes quarterly. So I don't think it's going to be an arduous task, but I will be here one more week. Right. So I'm going to post this on the document library today under the Office of Compliance and Ethics, and I want you to feel free to call me or Yana about any of the questions that you may have relating to this document.
Right. Thank you. And just final thoughts. The role of a security coordinator is to assist the Office of Compliance and the security officer in protecting ePHI. And so in order to do that, we just need you to be diligent in your job. If there are any issues, please notify us. As mentioned, the Office of Compliance or I will be happy to address them for you. And if there are any questions, we will be happy to answer them.
No questions so far?
No questions so far? Okay.
Any comments? Does anybody have any comments? Well, one thing that I do want to say before I exit the building, is that now having Lori Earl here is a significant bonus for us. She's an individual who has an extensive IT background. She has a master's in it. She holds an MBA. I think she's extremely equipped to handle this position, and she's very easy to talk to. So if you have questions in my absence until I'm replaced or even after then, you just want to run something by her, it's a whole lot easier for her to answer your questions on the front end, to try to do what I call cleanup on the back end. So please feel free to reach out to her and call her. If you have any issues related just to general compliance in my absence, please call Oyana Moore at the phone number on the screen. That's actually Oyana's number, and she'll be able to direct you to an individual who might be able to assist you.
Okay, we have a phone call from Area 7. Okay, we had a phone call from Area 7. I guess we don't anymore.
Maybe we'll wait for the person to call.
We'll wait.
I would imagine it's somebody calling to say how excited they are.
Right.
They can't believe that they were chosen
to be a security coordinator. And this is my contact information. Once again, if you have any questions, just feel free to call me, shoot me an email if you prefer. I will try to get you the information. If I don't know the information, I will definitely try to get you an answer as soon as possible. Okay, do we still have a phone call from Area 7? Are they back on the line?
I think they probably just need a minute. But one thing that I also want to mention is this isn't very different than what people were doing before. Right. It's just the addition of this risk assessment piece, which isn't going to be time consuming. Right. But I think that for the most part, because I'm the security coordinator for our office, and for the most part, the only thing I did was to, help us get back into our computers if we entered the password in too many times.
Right.
So this isn't going to be much more than what people are used to. But if you're listening to this training today and you're thinking, well, I understand that that's what the security coordinator is supposed to do, but there's somebody in my office who is far more fit for that role, or maybe since we had the list developed, there's somebody else that needs to be included, or we need to exchange a name for another one, please let us know.
Right.
Because we certainly want to be able to have an accurate list. And in discussions that we've had with Dr. Miller and with Brent Hatcher about these new requirements for the security coordinator, this may be something that's actually placed on the R&R that you'll be evaluated on. So you want to make sure that we have the appropriate information about who is supposed to be doing these things. Because once implemented, if we're finding that in your area you're not doing the quarterly assessment that we're requesting, then that could have an effect on the evaluation. Okay.
Okay, great. So we have a phone call from Area 7. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, what's your question?
My question is, in clinics that have multiple security coordinators, I'm assuming that we do one checklist for the whole area. I mean, each county will just do one, not each security coordinator?
Absolutely.
That's correct.
Yes. So in those instances, what you may want to designate is someone who is the primary, and then you'll just have someone else in their absence. So at least we know who is going to be held responsible for making sure that they make those reports.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to clarify that, because I don't think you want a bunch of different...
one analysis will be sufficient. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, there's an email question.
There's an email question from someone in environmental.
Okay.
What is ARIA and how are we trained on it?
If you work here, you know what the ARIA is, so I think the person is just playing with me. The ARIA is the Automated Report of Incidents and Accidents. We've had that in place since 2009. You can get to it from our website. So on the I'm sorry, did you want to answer this?
Yeah, that's
okay.
fine.
From the on the homepage of our website, the adph.org, if you go to the top right-hand corner, there's a place called Login, and once you click on Login, it will actually have a list of things. You click on the ARIA, the Automated Reports of Incidents and Accidents, and it will require you to enter your LCMS username and password. It's the exact same information that you enter when you're doing training through LCMS, and from there you'll be able to complete an ARIA. It's very self-explanatory. They ask you all the questions that we need. If it's a regular ARIA, which I would assume would be things like, there was an accident in the county health department, somebody got in an automobile accident, there was a confrontation, those things will go immediately to Carol Gerard in legal. And then if it's one that's specific to privacy and security, those things traditionally would be emailed to the security officer and the privacy officer immediately. And then there's one other ARIA report, which is the one for home health, that you can designate, and that's sent directly to that bureau. So that's what the ARIA is about.
Is there a training video on ARIA?
There is a training video, and I just recently sent that to Home Health again because they were trying to assess the different trainings that we had out there. It's also a part of a number of the HIPAA privacy and security policies that we've had over the course of a few years. And in our training, we actually go through the steps on how to complete an ARIA. So unless they were just teasing me, that person may just want to review the training that we already have.
Okay, great. We have a phone call from Calhoun County. Are you there?
Oh, I am. Okay, I was going to ask the question. Okay, how would you, I'm the security coordinator, yes, and I was concerning for the area 6, and we also have an office manager, and I'm the one just for area 6. So how would we do that as far as doing the ARIA or sending in the report quarterly? Would we just swap out, because her duties are a little bit different from mine? I basically thought I was just doing this so that people could get in their computer.
Okay. So are you asking if you should do the quarterly analysis or if the office manager should do it?
Right. Because I only do it like for area. None of my... Right. None of my employees are actually in this office. They're like 60, and they're all over. They're like it's 14 different counties.
Okay, so as the area person, we're not asking you to do it for the counties. There should be a designee for each county and then someone in the area office. So if you're the area security coordinator and you all have an area office, you would make an assessment of that office, and then each county would do their own. If there is an office manager, one thing that I, just to give you my perspective is whenever I've gone out to actually do these assessments, no offense against any other classification, but the office managers seem to know a whole lot about what's going on and what the processes are. So I would ask you to entertain having a discussion with that office manager to say, hey, I've been designated the security coordinator. Do you think this is a more appropriate role for you?
Right. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, we have a phone call from Area 5. Are you there?
Hello?
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 Are you still there?
Hello?
Yes, ma'am?
Did we lose the phone call?
Hello?
Hello? We can hear you.
Okay. I have a question. And for the counties, the areas that has both a clinic and a home health subunit, does the
I didn't hear the second part of that question.
the area staff for the home health do the report quarterly for the home health, or does it?
My preference would be that we get one assessment of a county. So if there happens to be, and I'm not sure if this is the case.
Or is it combined with the clinic?
What I would want is, let's say, for instance, there is, I'm trying to think of somebody who actually has home health, but let's just pretend, because we're in Montgomery, that Montgomery County Health Department has a home health piece and they have their own security coordinator. The preference is that there would be one report for the entire Montgomery County Health Department, and there should just be one person submitting that. So I don't. Maybe you'll be able to tell me if your home health group actually has their own security coordinator. But the preference would be that for the person who does it for the county in general, that they would do it for the clinic and for any aspect of it. And one of the reasons for that too is,
yes, I do.
In this document, it asks your general clinic stuff, but it also has some questions that I have found you only will find in home health. So I would prefer not to have a report from Lauderdale County Health Department and a report from the home health part of Lauderdale County Health Departments. I think those people should get together. It shouldn't take very much time and decide on what the answers to these questions are and just submit one report.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
Are there any more questions? Okay.
And I guess while we're waiting to see if there are any more questions, I think that goes for the bureaus as well. Even if you have a very large bureau,
Right.
we just want one report.
One consolidated report.
Right. Because what we're looking to do is, if we're ever audited, we want to be able to pull out the binder for, Limestone County Health
Right.
Department, and these are all of their risk assessments. Because I tell you, from a legal standpoint, which I can never get away from,
Right.
is you don't want to have two assessments for the same time period and one person have an answer that's different
From
than the other
another.
person's
Right. You
answers.
want consistency.
Yeah, you want consistency. So you need to get together to do one report.
Okay. And apparently there are no more questions. Okay. No more email questions. Okay. Well, I think that is it for today. I want to thank you all for joining us, and once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me or Samaria in the Office of Compliance.